Man, this button takes forever.
Mm-hmm.
Awkward.
Hello there. Welcome to this Take Action training. And I am Julie.
And I'm Jess. Good morning, everybody.
Yes. And if you've been with us for a while, you know we've been talking about getting to freemiums or lead magnets or freebies or an opt-in. Anyway, so we are finally here. The reason this is just now coming into our Take Actions is because several things needed to happen before we could get to this. So as an entrepreneur, you know, there's never a shortage of things to do, but this is such an important topic for you. I can't wait to get started on it today.
Exactly. And as you'll see, we're going to have you kind of looking introspectively today into like what you can offer the world in your freemium. And if you have not watched and learned from our why, reconnecting with your why and leveraging your why to run a powerful business, I'd like to invite you to go get the replays at sociallyinclined.com/take action so that you can rewatch that reconnecting with your why training. Sounds woo-woo, but it is so super important if you want to have a freemium, which is a premium freebie for those of you who haven't got the play on words yet. If you want a dynamite freemium, you're really going to have to do a little self-work on what makes you unique and what you can offer uniquely in your space.
Exactly, because there's no shortage of other people out there that do the same thing that you do. I don't care what niche you're in, there's competition. So in this, we really want to strive to have something that is valuable, obviously freemium, so premium freebie out there that will attract who you're looking for. So, and speak to their needs. So.
Yes. And if you're in direct sales and network marketing, listen up for a second. This is what is going to do it. You have a freebie as a Beachbody coach or a freemium as a unique presenter or Bellamy director. This is what is going to make you look like a pro. Everybody has Shakeology sample packets. Everybody has the trial, the little trials of the skincare, but not everybody is offering this kind of value for free because most people in direct sales don't go the extra mile. So you're here, you're socially inclined, do the work that we're going to do over the next few weeks to get that freemium. And I promise you, your direct sales business, any business that you're in, but as the direct sales specialist here at Socially Inclined, I just had to give that little listen up because this is where the money and the magic happens.
Exactly. So this training is going to be perfect for any business. So brick and mortar, retail, e-commerce. So you're maybe thinking, I just sell products, online. Well, still, there is a way to do this and do this right. We're going to talk about the what, why, and the how. And again, we have broken this up into a couple of weeks worth of training just because it's such a large topic. And Jessica just dropped what you're viewing on the screen here so that you can, we've got people that love to print. So
they're all printable this week too. It's 6 massive pages long, but there are a few, we're actually giving homework at the end of this one. So, you'll want to do the little exercises before you show back up next week so that we can get the most out of our time together.
Definitely. So, all right, who's ready? I know y'all are all ready. So there's been a lot of build up to this one. So, one of the things is with the freebie is that you're really trying to bring people, into your space, stand out. All right. So, social media platforms, you're not guaranteed to be able to stay on those. Your Instagram could get shut down. Your Facebook could get shut down. So we are trying to bring people off of social media and onto your email list. And that is what a freebie specifically will do. And it will also showcase you as the expert, stand out in what you are doing.
Exactly. And then on the kind of like the same hand, but kind of expanding from that, we all know that Julie and I are big into like the value-led entrepreneur. You know, you're not just selling something to make money. Yes, it's a big part of it, but that's kind of the means to an end. And this text right here in the center of this front page is probably the most important business mantra that you can have as a value-led entrepreneur. And that's the quicker someone can experience and benefit from your content, the sooner they'll purchase from you. And as I was mentioning earlier with my little direct sales aside, this isn't done by everyone. And I think it was it Oprah who said, there's not a lot of competition in the extra mile, or there's not that many people in the extra mile. It's true. And when you're talking about freemiums, you're giving something super valuable and super helpful for free. And that is exactly what we're talking about by the extra mile. And when you can go the extra mile for someone, then it becomes less of a salesy, selfish move to request an email address. And we're going to go into like emails several weeks from now. We're not really going to get into that there, but you're always collecting email addresses for a good reason, not to spam them, but to keep delivering the value that you started with when they give you their email address in exchange for your fabulous freemium.
Exactly. So with that, obviously, again, value. You are trying to stand out above the other people, the sea of people, especially. We keep talking about direct sales. This isn't just applicable to direct sales, but it is almost as important here as anything else, just to try to, because everybody's selling something. So you want to lead with the value. So, all right. So first thing is, what kind of audience would help with your ideal client's struggle? What kind of
advice?
Yeah, I'm like, what? It's my screen is like tiny. Sorry. I'm like, what kind of audience? Thank you.
It's okay. Right. I wrote this. Julie slept in. I took her coffee at 9:47.
No, that's not true.
No, it's not. I think they all know it's not true.
But all right, let's try again. What kind of advice? Exactly. All right. So big picture. So when you're trying to stand out, you're thinking about, we talked about connecting with your why. That's one that we've done in the past. So thinking about your audience, what are they struggling with that you can give some value to? So you want to think about them first. What's their struggle? And then how can you answer that naturally leads to something that you sell, or whether it be a product or service or whatever. So like for us, it is obviously lead magnets. So everyone has a hard time with lead magnets. So we have put together, and we would have a checklist or something that would bring people into getting a quick win, like take action trainings, and then possibly buy something in the future. All right. So again, when you're thinking about this question, you are thinking about long-term, what's the long-term outcome? So this is the very first thing that might pique their interest. So what's their number one struggle?
Exactly. And you're really lucky that you are not lucky. You made a really good choice to show up with us today, because essentially what Julie and I are going to be doing over the next 4 weeks is walking you through the process of how we create lead magnets. As an agency, we do full service lead magnet conceptualization, design, installation, and autoresponder series for $1,000 a person. Now, we know most entrepreneurs aren't ready to spend that or don't have that in their budget. So that's what we're going to be showing you. So this is actually a question right off of the intake questionnaire that we have for our clients who we do it for them from start to finish. And this is really the most important question that you have to answer when we're creating it for you, or when you're creating it yourself, which is the avenue that you're taking through these take action trainings. So what kind of advice would help with your ideal client's number one struggle? And this, it's still in the toolbox, the customer avatar worksheet. You can go download it in the free toolbox and get it. And that gives you insight. If you haven't done that before, I'm going to say why not, because that's probably the 15th time we've mentioned it in the Take Action trainings. But this is all about getting into your ideal client's head and figuring out what he or she struggles with the most, and then how you can help them with that in a nurturing, free, value-led sort of way.
Exactly. And it's going to be different for every niche. So, and that's one reason we don't pull this, this has been in the toolbox forever, because this is like step one of entrepreneurship, is know who you're selling to. Step number two is know what you're selling and know who you're selling to. All right, we'll put it in that order, but it will probably never come out of the toolbox. So
Savita, sorry, go ahead, Julie.
No. I'll say it in the back again for the people in the back.
And I'm going to say, it's not preaching if you're passionate.
No. And yeah. So nothing unnerves me more is to go go car shopping. Okay. And so you have a natural question on a car and they don't know the answer. All right. So you are supposed to be the expert in what you do. So learn your product and learn what the customer struggle is, so you can anticipate and be there prior to them explaining that to you. Because in your market, most all of the struggles are the same. So for us, it's, entrepreneurs have all the things. There's no time to do it. You get it. So you're an entrepreneur. So, all right. So that is a big step, is the knowing what their number one struggle is. So, And again, your lead magnet doesn't have to be the number one struggle. So make a few of those, but you do want to know what the number one is.
Yep. All right. We're going to have to keep going, or this is going to be a 2-hour training. Kim, I've made a note of your niche. If we have time at the end, I will circle back and see if we can't get you some ideas, or next week, I'll give you some ideas in the art niche. That one is kind of interesting.
Yep. All right. So we're going to talk pros and cons. We're going to go through this quickly because we've talked a little bit about this, but some of the pros are a freebie it reduces the barrier of people don't want to be sold to. Okay. So you're not selling to them when you're giving them something. You're giving them something of value. So they tend to have higher than average conversion rates when you start in that process. So, and they're, again, going to speak to their specific need. All right. I'll just go right on. They build your image. So again.
Sorry, I'm taking notes.
No, that's okay. So I'll go through things really quick. So they build you up as the expert in your niche. Obviously, we'll use Beachbody, for example. There's how many out there, and they all, again, have whatever, the free samples, the whatever. But when you are leading from that place of you're teaching something, you're a lifestyle change or whatever, that sets you up as an expert. All right. So a big thing that a lot of people will struggle with too, especially when they're first starting, is they think they have to have 1,000 of them. No, or whatever. And we do too. I mean, we've got the toolbox that's got a lot of stuff in it. Our market is huge, but you only need one great freemium to make this successful. So instead of getting ahead of yourself and thinking of, I could do 10 different things, back it up, number one struggle, and decide what is going to help your person the most. Even if you feel like you're, giving trade secrets or whatever it is, you're going to position yourself as that expert. So back it up, one freemium that addresses their top need. All right. And then after that one, it starts seeing success, you can move on to another one. But we see this all the time where people want 10. So no, not yet.
Exactly. And more often than not, it just leads to what Shannon says she struggles with, and that is not taking action. And it creates something that we are so familiar with called analysis paralysis. Yep. And that is what Take Action trainings are about, is getting you over that analysis paralysis hump. So you're going to focus on one well thought out freemium, and it's going to do the trick for you without having to worry about the other ones.
Exactly. We talk about taking imperfect action all the time. That is taking action on one thing motoring through and getting to the finish line. You can back up and refine it, but the purpose of this week is to come up with what your lead magnet freemium is going to be. So based on that, based on your number one struggle. All right. So the last pro is, or there's probably a ton of pros, but the last one we're outlining here is they are easy to make. Again, we're not going to get into this week, so you have to come back in the future. But they are easy to make. You can think about like a checklist. How easy is that? Like the top 10 ways to insert whatever it is. All right. So they are easy. All right. And we struggled to come up with really like a con, but the biggest negative is that the time that it takes to create them. But again,
you're here, so you're already halfway overcoming that con anyway. So.
Exactly. And we try to show shortcuts like all the time so that it just takes the struggle out of it. And getting one finished, whether you feel like it's perfect or not, getting one finished is the ideal solution here. So take massive action and get her done. All right.
As if Julie didn't sound like a sweet Southern girl enough already.
Yep. Get her done.
All right. So the guidelines for a socially inclined, a premium freebie. And these are just kind of like off the top of our head, the things that we try to make sure when we create one, that it falls into the category of, or is it okay that we're going on?
Yeah.
All right.
I think so.
Perfect. So
we'll get to questions at the end. So if anybody, you can leave them here, but we'll scroll back. So.
Yeah. So this first one, I love it because it's so true. And I made this mistake when I created my first freemium as a baby coach way back then. It was 127 tips. Yes, 127 tips to live a healthy, fulfilling life. Way too many. And I actually never even launched that one because I could not get back to it and complete it. I did the very thing that I said don't do, and that was I succumbed to analysis paralysis, and I just could not work through it with everything else I had on my plate. So bigger in this case is not better. This is why you want to plan it and refine it in the final pages of this resource, because you are aiming for something that is short, consumable, and actionable. So that they can actually, it's like these take action trainings. We really try to make them where they're not so massive. This is why we are not doing a single freemium training, because if we went all the way through conceptualization, designing, installing, and promoting your freebie today, one, we'd be here for 2 hours and everyone would be exhausted. But two, you would have so much stuff running through your head that you would have analysis paralysis and it would be hard to know where to start. So today, we're like you've already kind of caught on, we're just conceptualizing today because we're going to take that first most important actionable step. And the same applies for your freebie.
And I just want to say that this is the most important of all of them. Execution obviously is important, but if you don't have a good one to start with, this is where you need to spend the bulk of your time, is thinking about what can make a difference for somebody. Then I got one other little thing really quick. So the bigger, sometimes bigger is not always better. So we struggle with this tremendously with our toolbox. That is why, if you have access to the toolbox, and probably most everybody here does, is why we could have 1,000 things in there, but it would overwhelm you and there's no way that you could get to them all. So we constantly rotate them in and out depending on what we're talking about. So, and again, we're on step 20, okay? And you may be on step 1 or 10 or wherever you are. We're talking about 1. I just wanted to show the comparison of, even if you have the ability to have 100 things, you don't need 100 things because it puts up a barrier to people doing business with you. So
for sure.
Yeah. So, all right.
Second point. And really the second sentence here is probably the second most important thing out after only that first sentence on the first page that I said was the most important. Most people are highly distracted and have very short attention spans. This is not just being ugly. This is just stating the facts. Like, attention spans are so micro these days, and you know it. Think about what actually stops you from scrolling on social media and how quickly you scroll through. A lot of times you'll go through 30, maybe even 40 in a minute. You'll just scroll right through. So attention spans are shorter than ever. Thank you very much, social media. So checklists and these smaller, quickly consumable items are really helpful because people aren't really, Jate said she was considering a 10,000 page freemium. Thank goodness we know that you didn't go that direction, because no one would consume that. If you're going to sell something for 10,000 pages, or if you're going to offer something that's 10,000 pages and that in depth, you need to be selling it for $1,999 with a payment plan. Like, that is deep, deep, deep training. And then where else? Freebie is short and sweet. There, it's yours. Go.
Yeah, no. I was just going to say, so the reason, because their attention span is so short, like we'll get into this on the next one, but basically there are people that will download your freebie and then never open it. All right. So
that happens all the time.
But it truly happens. We have people get it, like, that request the toolbox and then never log in. All right. So again, give them the win. It's the same pretense of our Take Action Tuesdays. We are trying to encourage you to take action. So you need to do the same thing. It is going to be a super small topic that they can get a win from. All right. Sorry. Aside.
Oh my goodness. Sorry. I just got so distracted. I was reading the chat. I should not do that. I wish Debbie was here.
I have it over to the side. So all right, you should also make it actionable. All right, so that's the next one. So they need, and that's just kind of what I just said, they need a simple win. They need to see that whatever you're doing is attainable. So I don't care if it's...
Oh, Debbie is here.
If it's in the health niche or whatever, or the fitness or whatever, that the one step, like in skincare. I am terrible about taking my makeup off every night. I know it's terrible, but I need somebody to create something that'll make me want to do it. So I don't know. But so you are trying to get them to take action. All right. They need a win to go to the next step with you.
For sure. And I put this back here as one of the bullets because this was the number one takeaway today. The quicker someone can experience and benefit from your content, the better. So what do you need to have front and center for someone to grab in exchange for their contact information? And then they go experience some great value. You're in contact with them, maybe sending them an email once or twice a week. And then when they're ready to buy, you deliver this incredible value and bam, it's so easy for them to decide that they're going to purchase from you.
Exactly. And there's so many studies that show that people do not purchase from you the first time that they see your product or whatever. It's hard to sell straight up, like whether it be a Facebook ad or whatever. It's hard to sell a product. You need to have this freemium that will introduce them and create them to take the next step. So when people start acting, then you are pushing them along the steps of then creating a win for you and them working with you or buying from you.
Yes. I think that number is 7, right? People have to see something 7 times before they decide to buy on average.
Yeah. Or take some type of action, whether it's see or read an email or get a text or get a Facebook or see it in, a social media post. And especially now because the micro seconds that people's attention span is today. So.
Yep. All right. And so reader gets a quick win. I feel like this one might be kind of redundant. Sorry. Just happens when you're writing and really excited about it. This part is really important. You want them, it's not just something that you're giving them that's pretty and branded, but there needs to be something that they can see, they internalize, they do, and then wow, all of a sudden their niche related struggle is mitigated, or it's easier to maintain, or whatever it is that you were targeting in your freebie. And then
we need a light bulb moment to happen for them.
Exactly.
Thinking about that. All right. And then
so last but definitely not least, and we will talk about design next week, but you want to keep it clean and simple in your design. You want to embrace that white space, especially if this is your first time creating a freemium. And speaking of embracing that white space and graphic design, if you were not with us 2 weeks ago now, go back and watch the basic graphic design in our Take Action training program. And the link is right there. Like I said, if you don't have those replays yet, you need to grab them, because things are happening and things are shifting around, and they may not be $2 a piece next week.
We're going to say they're... So we feel like we're over delivering so much. These were going to be paid courses. So paid workshops, basically. So $2. Where can you get? All right, here we go. So moving along. And then, wait, Savita says duotone. So if you're not here for office hours with us, you need to come to office hours and see what duotone is. So, all right. So we want you to, all right, so your number one struggle. All right, we know the pros and cons. We know you need one, whatever. So now we're going to talk about some of the things that you can deliver. All right. Number one, we're the top. So we're going to give you ideas. You're going to think about for your niche, what is the best. All right. So obviously most freemiums are PDF, ebooks, reports, guides, whatever. All right. Again, you have to be careful when it's a report or a guide to keep it on the shorter side. And again, you are trying to get a win. They need to have that, oh my gosh, at the end. Okay. So if it's a guide, you need to keep it on the short side.
For sure.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I'll take the even numbers. Free audio. Okay. And this may sound advanced, but like, it's really just think about it like a podcast, or maybe like a longer podcast where you are speaking like we're speaking right now on a topic that you are an expert at. And that it's a really great deliverable for people who maybe they want to listen to it. If you've done your customer avatar and you've discovered that your ideal client lives in podcast land, then free audio is probably going to be where it's at for you.
Right. And we're going to cover the mechanics of that. It's really not as bad at all, but we'll cover that. And I don't remember if it's next week or the next, but anyway, we'll cover that. So don't panic. If you think that your people like audio, might mark that as a possibility. All right. I love this next one, and I'm going to tell you why. So a freemium as an e-course or an email series. All right. So we're getting to a couple of points on this. So let's say you set up an e-course as an email series. So let's say it's the 7 things you need to do to whatever. All right. So if they get an email every single day from you, number one, you're touching them every single day. So that is like creating that consistency, and you're moving along them through your sales process there. All right. So instead of it getting all at one time in a checklist or PDF or whatever, you are training them to open your emails. So there's lots of pros to this. So, and again, I feel like this is probably one that you'd want to split test. That's a chapter later, but
it's way too advanced. Number 4, a video download. Videos are perceived to be a higher value than audio in written documents. That is true, but that doesn't mean you should push for a video download. It's just if that is how you're most comfortable is giving like a video tutorial, it would kind of be like if Julie and I were just, well, actually, we've done this. The video download, if you want a free replay of the Take Action trainings, then we have offered that content themes training, which was right around an hour long. And that is an example of a free video, a video download freemium.
And it's one of the best if you are comfortable on camera, because you're building that know, like, and trust. They are understanding what they are learning, or understanding how you are, how you teach, or whatever it is that you do. People do business with people. I got it in. So.
She got it in. Also, on the video download side of things, to all my fitness fans out there, a 10-minute ab workout or a 10-minute long lean legs workout that you offer for free. Obviously, you're going to want to put your disclaimers in there. You need to do that research because we're not lawyers, but you're going to have to put disclaimers in there about exercise at your own risk. Talk to your doctor before starting any exercise program, blah, 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 blah. But that is a perfect example of a freebie, because if someone came to your site, or if you were posting on social media and you said, download my 10-minute whatever workout for free, who wouldn't be interested in that if it was targeted and it was if the value was illustrated there properly?
Exactly. And if you niche that down to like
postpartum pooch.
Exactly. So like, there you go. She took it right out of my mouth. That wasn't exactly what I was going to say, but say it again in case I stepped on it.
Postpartum pooch.
There you go. The
postpartum pooch goes poof. There you go. Oh my gosh, I need to make one of those real quick.
All right. So I love a worksheet. Always have. We create these toolkits and they have worksheets that go with it. I love a worksheet. I love the actionable. I was born from the paper world. I like to print. Who's my, I forget who it is. Sarah, I think, is my print girl here. Even your social plan, it's still printable because some people like to print. So a worksheet, number one, you're leading them through the process. If they fill out the worksheet, they will get a win if you lead them properly. So I love the worksheet workbook myself.
Wow. All right. So all of you commerce folks, a discount or coupon for one of your products. Since, it's a coupon, it's kind of like cash, and who doesn't like saving money? And you see this all the time with commerce places. If you land on someone's e-commerce website, they'll say, sign up for our newsletter for 10% off your first purchase. And that works. That works, especially since they came there to browse, possibly buy something. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to get 10 or 15% off, and they are that much more likely to buy something right there after they get their coupon code.
Agreed. There are ways for e-commerce to do these others, but we really wanted to leave that for our e-commerce people, so as an option. All right, number 7, checklists. Checklists are easy to read. Again, we talked about being easily consumable, and you're going to hit them with the top ways to do something. The top, again, leading them through the process to get that win. So, and Jessica's example here is tax preparation checklist, what to look for when buying an accounting program. So, yay.
Savita. All right, preview of a book or course. So this is an advanced one. Let me just stop right here. Baby Biz Jess is going to come out real quick. I would have never been able to do this or even wrap my mind around doing this 6 years ago when I first started my direct sales business. So if this freaks you out, just block out number 8. You don't need to look at it. But if you have a membership or a course or something like that, and you're on chapter 20, then this is such a great thing. I've seen this done with some of our competitors in our space. We do this in some ways with some of our stuff. You're basically going to be offering the first chapter or the first module for free. And then the idea is they consume that. And while they're consuming that, they're getting gentle emails about how they like the content and then what you have to offer if they chose to pay for the next 6 modules to buy the complete course, that kind of thing. Again, chapter 20, if that just freaked you out and made you want to shut down, don't even read it. Just keep going to number 9.
Number 9, a tips list. All right, so we talked about Jess's 127 tips earlier, and I think there's a typo here.
That's a typo. I'm so sorry. 10.
We have 110.
10.
But so again, think about their top struggle All right. And then what are the tips that you can offer to eliminate that struggle? All right. And again, you're thinking about what you're going to sell them on the back end, and how does the struggle and the tips relate to what you can sell. Again, you're not necessarily, there may be a call to action in the end of your tip sheet or something like that. But again, it needs to be natural. It needs to be something that leads to what you sell. All right. So, and there's no shortage of options for this. And you can Google and borrow ideas, rewrite them, but you can get some ideas.
Yeah. Ideas are safe to borrow. Well, as long as they're not trademarked. So,
right.
Yeah. Anyway, you're not worried about that when you're just looking at, my advice would be to look at someone else who you kind of have like envy of, and they're in your space, and just kind of see what they're doing that might jive with you or not. And then finally,
I'm going to say, but number one, so imposter syndrome can creep in. So be careful when you're looking at competitors, but we want you to, okay? But know that they are on chapter 20 a lot of times. So you cannot compare, all right? You're just doing recon to get an idea of what is out there that they're doing for freemiums, and do not copy them. You're just getting ideas. All right, number 10, Jess.
Number 10, the old trusty recipe and meal plan. So for those of you, you probably know why I put this here for my nutrition and fitness people. Such a great thing to provide recipes for, weight loss or gluten-free. If you're, I actually have a friend who has celiac, so that's kind of why I wrote that here. But then it's not just food recipes. You can also do things like these particular recipes, like the recipe for success or a recipe for personal growth, because that it's kind of Julie likes to call this pattern interrupt when you're calling that a recipe. And I really like the way that feels in terms of delivering value. Like you're giving them a recipe to achieve a personal goal.
Yes, I do love the recipe.
Julie's texting. She's texting and driving.
No, who is?
I was just joking. She was answering the chat, guys.
Yeah, I was. I thought you said Jen. That's why I was like, I couldn't hear. All right. So
no, Julie.
All right. So here comes our little workbook, like the little workbook. So here's your little creative space to just brain dump. I'm a fan of batching. I'm a fan of brain dumping, because as an entrepreneur, our brains are full of ideas. If you can get it out of your head and onto paper, it doesn't have to be on paper. It can be in OneNote or whatever, but just dump everything that comes to mind. Okay. You can call them as you're going, but number one, what does my client need most? All right. What can you help them with most? All right. So the next thing is, how can I best serve this need? And last is, how can I best deliver this? So there's going to be some that are best delivered as tips. There's going to be some that's the best delivered as a workbook, some that's a workout video, whatever it is. So everyone's is going to be different. I would love to see everyone's ideas for these.
Wait, I was going to hold it. I had such a beautiful epiphany moment about 5 minutes ago. I was waiting until we got to the end, but I can go ahead and say it. But I think we would like to collect, like if you print these out, or if you can organize these well enough on a piece of paper so we know what we're looking at, and then you want to take a picture of it and post it on the thread of our Facebook group, then we can pick the most fleshed out one as our example next week when we're doing the design.
Exactly. And we've been showcasing an example, whatever the topic was, when you get the win and you come back to the group, we've been sending that in the email, the next day's email, or if you missed the training email. So it's a good way to showcase what you do. We actually have like 8,000 people on our list that we've got to call some, but 7,000 go out. So 7,000 people seeing what you do. That's kind of a big draw for, depending on, anyway, so do the work, come up with a list. We also can weigh in as we can on your topic and your ideas to kind of give you some feedback.
Yeah, if we don't use your idea next week, we will have it. We'll read them if you post them in the group, and that we'll be able to tailor some of our conversation next week. So this page and the following page are going to be kind of homework-esque. Like, it's the good kind of homework, but you do need to sit down and just kind of, as Julie said, kind of brain dump a little bit. And that second to the last page is going to be the broadest brainstorm, where you're just kind of getting out there. And then this page is going to be more about refining those ideas into deliverable tips or things that you can actually turn into a freebie.
Right. And the main thing again is what will cause them to take action and get a win. So when you're thinking about these, it's hard. You need to batch out a little bit of time. You really need to spend, an hour or so brain dumping and really getting behind this topic. Of the take actions, this training will serve you one of the best outcomes or ROI for your time spent, because you can start building an email list. Email marketing is still about over $40 ROI. So for every dollar you spend on email marketing, 40 comes back. So you want to start building this list. I just want to reiterate why this freebie is so important. Number one is you want to move people off of social media and onto your list. And number two, you want to build know, like, and trust. All right. And you want to give people a win so that they want to take the next step with you. And again, it's perfect for any niche. So any brick and mortar, any e-commerce. So I cannot wait to see what y'all come up with for yours.
Exactly. And this 3-column, the left column there is going to be what do they need. The middle column is going to be what kind of advice can you give to serve that need. And then the third column is kind of the most important, because you're going to put the two together in those first 2 columns. And that's going to kind of help determine and guide you in what is the most appropriate freemium type for what you just said they need and what you said you could deliver. Yeah. Just to clarify that.
If you're not a paper person, like, we will accept this any way that you want to take a picture of it. So
yeah,
if the format isn't so don't get hung up on like trying to get it on this piece of paper. Do the work, and we'll see if, put it in the group and let's get some feedback going.
Exactly.
All right.
Awesome.
So, yay, we did that in like 45 minutes. We're doing well on this take training. So, and again, imagine if we didn't try to break this up. So we do need you to do some homework and think about what it is, and then come back ready for next week. We're excited to get the nuts and bolts of it for sure. All right. What were the questions?
Exactly. And yeah, so we had a few people who said that they were a little stumped. Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to turn it in we're not going to give you a grade.
But you're going to appreciate that A for effort when the emails start rolling in, and you can start an email marketing system coming. So
exactly. So we did have a few folks. I wrote down Kim in the art niche, Marcia in the home fragrance niche, and Lydia in the mental health niche, saying she's having trouble with her mental health blog and kind of figuring out how to do that. And I know Savita was offering some little tips as well. Kim, so if we were one-on-one doing your freebie, my first question to you would be, art niche, okay, but who's your ideal client? Is that who does your artist promote a freebie? Are we having lag? I'm kind of lag.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if it's whose end it is. So sorry. And if you're catching the replay, hopefully it's going to clear up in a second. So stay with us.
Did anyone hear that? No, I'm breaking up. Okay. So Kim, I was just, is it still doing?
Yep. May have to, it is.
So it doesn't sound, yeah, so it's fine and then it's not. But okay, so let's just end the recording and we will talk with the people who are still here. What do you think?
I think that's great. All right. So thank y'all for joining us for this Take Action. Do your homework and show up next week.
Yep. We're going to be designing this sucker.